Hello again everyone, and welcome back to Learn Linux TV. If you're just getting started with containers, you might be curious what the process is like when it comes to installing something like Docker on Linux. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you the exact process. I'm going to show you how to install Docker. Also, I'm going to demonstrate how to launch an application through a Docker compose file. But by the end of this video, you'll have Docker up and running, and you'll have a solid foundation when it comes to learning more about containers. In particular, what I'll do is show you the packages that you'll need to install, all the commands that you'll need to run, as well as how to properly configure Docker so everything is working correctly. And don't worry if you're completely new to containers, because I'll guide you through the process every step of the way, and by the end of this video, like I mentioned, you'll have a fully functional Docker setup. And you know what? I'm really excited to get started, so let's dive in right now. So let's set up Docker. Like I mentioned during the intro, I'm going to give you all the commands that you'll need to get it installed. In addition to that, I'm also going to provide you with a URL to the official blog post for this video, and you can visit that link to grab all of the commands that I'm going to be using today. In fact, some of these commands are going to be a bit on the longer side, so I'll be copying and pasting some of those myself. Anyway, as an aside, as you can see right here, I'm running Debian 13 on this instance. So keep in mind all the commands that I'm going to give you were tested on Debian. You could absolutely get Docker installed on any other distro, but if you do use a different distro, you might have to adjust the commands a bit. Also, I went ahead and took care of all the preliminary instance setup that's required. For example, I've named the instance, I created a non-root user for myself, and I've also installed updates already. So in my case, this instance is fully ready to go. Anyway, what I'm going to do right now is paste in the first command. And here it is. In this case, I'm using sudo because I'm going to be making changes to the underlying distro itself. And then I'm using the curl command, which I could use to download something. And in this case, I'm going to download the GPG key for Docker's repository. And speaking of that, we're going to be using Docker's repository instead of distribution-provided packages because packages from the Docker repository tend to be more up-to-date. And in the case of Debian, it's often the case that the packages available when it comes to things like Docker are going to be quite old, but we want to use the third-party repository so that way we get a fully supported version of Docker. This command right here is going to download the key that's required to authenticate to that repository, so I'll press enter. And as you can see, there was no output, but if I check the contents of the directory that I copied the GPG key to, you'll see right there that I've successfully added the key for the Docker repository. And the next thing we're going to do is add the actual Docker repository itself. So what I'll do is type sudo, then nano, and then /etc, and then apt, and then sources.list.d. And for the file name, I'll name it docker.sources, just like that. Now obviously this file won't exist just yet because we're creating it right now. So when I enter that command, it's going to open an empty file. As far as the contents of the repository itself, what I'll do is paste that in right now. And there we go. In this case, we have the URL, we have the types. We also see that we're targeting Trixie, which is the latest version of Debian as of the time I'm recording this. We want to make sure we're using stable components. In my case, the architecture is AMD 64. If yours is something else, you'll have to change that accordingly. And then when it comes to signed by, we reference the key that's required to sign the repository. And of course, we downloaded that during the previous step. So what I'll do is save the file, and I can do that by holding Control and pressing letter O. That'll bring up the save dialog. I'll press enter, and then I'll simply exit the editor. And now that we've added the repository, what we'll want to do is refresh the package repository index to make sure Debian is fully aware of the packages that are available there. And to do that, I'll type sudo, and then apt update, and I'll press enter. In this case, we can see that Docker is literally mentioned in the output right here, and I didn't get any errors, which means I'm good to continue. And the next thing we'll do is install the packages that are required to set up Docker. So I'll type sudo, and then apt install. We'll install the community edition of Docker itself. The package name will be docker-ce, just like that. We'll install command line tools for Docker as well. We'll also install containerd. And also, it's a good idea to install the Docker Compose plugin, especially since we'll be using it in the next section. And those are the packages that we'll be installing right there. Again, I have a URL down in the description below where you could grab all of the commands that I'm using today. That's the last time I mention it. I just want to make sure you're aware of that. But anyway, I'll press enter. And as you can see right here, it's going to install the packages that I asked for, as well as some dependencies. Everything looks good for me. And the default choice is yes, because Y is capital, so I can simply press enter to confirm that I do want to install these packages. And now Docker is installed. But a best practice is to test it before we start using it. And a good way to do that is to run a special container called Hello World. And to do that, we'll type sudo, then Docker. We want to run a container. And the container that we want to run in particular is Hello World. I'll press enter, and let's see what happens. And check it out. We get a message that says hello from Docker. And actually, that's all that container does. It's just a container we could use to make sure that Docker itself is working, and in my case, well, it is. Now, as an aside, I had to use sudo in order to run a container on my system here, and there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, but we could omit that if we wanted to. It's up to you, but what I'm going to do right now is show you how you can get around that. All we have to do is type sudo, then usermod. I want to add a user to a group. The group in particular is going to be the Docker group, and the user that I want to add to that group is mine. I'll press enter, and it was as easy as that. Now, what I'll need to do is log out and log in order for the changes to take effect. As you can see, I haven't logged out yet, and it's still not working. So I'll just simply type exit to drop my SSH connection. I'll use the up arrow to recall the SSH command that I used to connect to the server in the first place. I'll press enter. I'll type in my super secret password, and I'll press enter. And now I'm logged back into the server. I'll recall the previous command where I attempted to run the Hello World container without sudo. This one right here, and it should work now. And it does. So, as you can see, we were able to take away the sudo requirement, and whether or not you do that is up to you, but I wanted to show you how to do that in case you are interested. And now, with all that done, what we'll do is jump into the next section in which I'm going to show you how to use Docker Compose. We'll get back to the video in just a moment, but first I wanted to let you know about something really awesome. I'm offering a 30% discount for courses and certifications over at the Linux Foundation, so if you want to level up your career, well, now is a great time to do that. The Linux Foundation helps support the Linux and open source technologies we rely on every day, while also offering respected industry-recognized certifications that can help grow your skills and validate your expertise. If you're ready to take the next step in your Linux journey, then use my link and discount code to save 30% or more on Linux Foundation training and certification programs. Not only will you be investing in yourself, but you'll also be helping support Learn Linux TV and the educational content I create for the Linux community. And as a special pro tip, the Linux Foundation offers a free Introduction to Linux course, so that way you can check out how their courses are structured before you buy anything. And then, once you're ready to take your skills to the next level, you could use my discount code to do so and also save some money. So boost your Linux career and get certified. And my discount code for certifications through the Linux Foundation makes it even cheaper to do so. And with all that out of the way, well, let's get back to the video. Next, let's go ahead and launch our first container. Well, first, other than the Hello World container anyway. And for this, we're going to use Docker Compose. And I think Docker Compose is one of the best ways to get started because it automates much of the setup process and makes deploying applications a lot easier, especially for beginners. The way this typically works is you'll download a Docker Compose file from a vendor's website or documentation page, and then you'll use Docker Compose to launch everything automatically. In many cases, that single file will define all of the containers, networking, storage, and configuration that's required for the application to run properly. Now, technically, you can create Docker Compose files entirely from scratch if you want to, and eventually that's definitely a useful skill to learn. But in real-world scenarios, most people start with a compose file that's provided by the vendor, and then they customize it as needed. Anyway, to simulate that real-world process, what I have right here is a documentation page for Uptime Kuma. Uptime Kuma is a really awesome infrastructure monitoring utility, and it's released as a container. And if we scroll down, we see the commands that were prepared by Uptime Kuma for installation, which includes a Docker Compose file. So what I'm going to do is copy all of this information right here. Then I'll switch over to my terminal, and we'll start working through the process. The first thing we'll do is create a directory specific for the project. So I'll type mkdir, and then I'll call the directory uptime-kuma. I'll press enter, and then I'll go inside the directory, and we'll create the file. I'll use nano, and the file name will be docker-compose.yml, just like that. And what I'll do is paste in the information that I copied from the website. And here it is. Now the thing is, a complete guide on everything involving containers is beyond the scope of this video, but I do plan on making additional container videos going forward. But for now, I'll just give you some basic information regarding what's going on here. So first, we're setting up a service. We'll set up a service called Uptime Kuma. We're going to use this container image right here. We're going to give the container a name. Restart always means if there's any problems, we want it to always be running. Right here we have a port map. Uptime Kuma is using port 3001. If that port is already taken on your server, you'll need to change it. And here we're going to need a volume for Uptime Kuma to run. We'll create that shortly. We can set the time zone. We could also configure networking manually if we want to, but I'm going to leave most of this at the default settings. Scrolling down, we have a health check, how often that health check runs, how long until it times out, and then we have logging information as well. And that's your basic Docker Compose file. Most of the settings, again, we're leaving at their defaults, at least for this tutorial. But there is one thing we'll need to edit, so I'll scroll up, and we'll need to edit this section right here. But essentially what we want is a persistent volume for all of our data. We definitely don't want to have all of our configuration wiped out anytime the container restarts. So what I'm going to do is remove most of the configuration here, and I'll have the Docker Compose file create the volume for me, so that way I don't have to do it manually. And the first thing I'll do for that is give the volume a name. I'll call it Uptime Kuma Data, just like that, colon, then /app/data, just like that. So that should cause Docker Compose to create that volume for me. And in addition to that line, what we'll do is go to the very end of the file, and what I'll do is add volumes. And then uptime-kuma-data with a colon there. And what this last section is doing is actually creating the volume. And then here we're telling Docker where to mount it. Anyway, now that we've made both changes, we'll save the file. Then we'll close out. And now what we'll do is run it. And to do that, we'll type Docker, and then compose. We'll type up because we want to create the infrastructure. And then -D for daemon mode. We want to make sure that it stays running. So I'll press enter. And as you can see, the container is being created. And now the process is complete. And to test it out, we'll try to access the container from a web browser. The first thing we'll need is the IP address. And if you don't remember what it is, you can type IP, then ADDR, and then show, just like that. We'll scroll up a bit, and here I see the IP address. So I'll copy it, and then I'll switch over to a web browser. And what I'll do is paste in the IP address in the address bar. I'll add port 3001, and I'll press enter. Let's see what happens. And check it out. Here's Uptime Kuma. It's actually working. It's very common when you launch a container for the first time that you'll see an introduction screen like this one that'll help you with any other settings that are required. I'll just choose some default options here, nothing too particularly exciting, just want to make sure that it's fully working. I'll create a username for myself. I'll set a password. I'll confirm it. And that should be it. So click Create. And as you can see, Uptime Kuma is working. We successfully launched it through Docker Compose, which is awesome. And there's our video. In this video, I gave you guys a full walkthrough of setting up Docker on Debian. And also, I showed you the process of launching Uptime Kuma from a Docker Compose file. I hope you had a lot of fun because I had a lot of fun producing this content for you guys. Now I'm going to have additional container-related videos coming in the future, so be sure to subscribe to Learn Linux TV for the latest in Linux. And with all that said, thank you so much for checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one.